Playing on a Budget is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, the best Magic the Gathering singles and sealed retailer on the internet, GatheringMagic.com, your #1 source for Magic the Gathering news and content, and RogueDeckBuilder.com, my personal channel filled with innovative and entertaining Magic the Gathering rogue brews. Hi there, it's Kevin with GatheringMagic.com here with match number 2 with the Blue-White Flash. Yes, we like to keep this hand. This has some good action on it. Declaring Stow, Topplegeist, Rattlechains. You have everything that I think the deck wants. Hopefully we can get through this video without any technical difficulties, and we can do a live game. Apologize about game number 1. So I think that we actually lead off here with a Faerie Miscreant rather than the Topplegeist, as the Faerie Miscreant gives us the ability to draw into another one and draw a card. The Topplegeist gives us the ability to tap down something. So I think I will just go with the Miscreant. The alternative to that was to put a Topplegeist and then protect it with a flashed Rattlechains. But I think that the Faerie Miscreant gives us the best possible draw, being another one. And it's going to be a Magmatic Insight and a Drownyard Temple. So some sort of land strategy. Could be Jund. Could be the Jund Gitrog monster list. That's what it looks like to me. And he's definitely getting some nice Delirium cards in the graveyard right off the bat. So the good news is we do have a nice tempo strategy. The bad news is, like, I think that a more aggressive deck could do a bit more. Like, you put this deck under a bit more pressure than what our little Flash Tempo deck can do. So we'll get in for 1, get him down to a 19, and keep the Rattlechains up. The strength of this deck, too, is the sideboard. We can bring in a lot more of our counter spells. And since we don't need to be, like, worrying about early game, and in fact, well, I don't know, it could be running, like, the tireless tracker that we have to answer very quickly. But if he's like trying to go for more of the Jund impactful cards, we can just keep in counter spells that just really, really hurt these type of strategies. Here, I'll just flash in the Rattlechains. And he can response kill it if he has something, but it doesn't look like he has any sort of fiery tempers, or excuse me, fiery impulses. We have a Dimensional Infiltrator, but I think that we just I'm not sure exactly what the deck has. I just don't want to run out like a Bygone Bishop and then get Radiant Flamed. But is Dimensional Infiltrator? I think that maybe I'll attack first for sure. But if we can get this Bygone Bishop out, that makes all of our creatures basically draw a card, which in a tempo strategy is huge. So I'll attack in, force him to use some mana if he has some mana, or a card to open, and then we'd be able to resolve the Bygone Bishop. But I'm still going to cast it. For Radiant Flames, you'd have to have another colored source of mana come out this turn to be able to wipe my board, which could easily happen. But Kozilek's Return does not kill the Bygone Bishop. He's going to Tormenting Voice with a Fiery Temper Madness to kill the Bygone Bishop. At least that's my, yeah. So there's some good card draw there. And he does find off the Tormenting Voice another forest. So maybe it's just a red. Do you know what? This could be some sort of... Oh, do you know what this is? This is going to be the Pyromancer's Goggles. That's what I'm thinking this deck is going to be. So I'm just going to Topplegeist and have the Dimensional Infiltrator up. We have him on a 4-turn clock now. Well, it's going to be an extra turn because we're only getting in for 1 damage here, but I'm liking our odds. We'll bring in Negates for sure next game to deal with. Countering a Pyromancer's Goggles is huge. So I'm expecting a Pyromancer's Goggles to come down right here. We have some dead cards with the Stasis Snare. What does Traverse Living Wall actually go and grab? Creature or land. Okay. Can't go get the Pyromancer's Goggles. So he's Tormenting Voice. He gets a Fall of the Titans in the graveyard. So that would have been a huge card against us. I'm loving Rattlechains in this match too. This could be a second Fall of the Titans and he can split 2 damage. Kill a Rattlechains and a Faerie Miscreant. That's what it looks like it's going to happen. Yeah, that definitely hurts. We have the Dimensional Infiltrator, though, at least to pressure him. And the good thing about the Foundry, the Consuls, too, is we can bounce our Dimensional Infiltrators if we hit a land off the top. So it has like a third of a chance to bounce. We do find that last Ojutai's Command that can hit a Rattlechains to protect our Topplegeist. And he's down to a 10. He's used 2 Fall of the Titans. He's used a Fire Temper. He used almost all of his Tormenting Voices. He's got... Oh, I guess he's only used 2 of them. And he's used... We've got a lot of the ammo out. I mean, it's going to be the point where a lot of his gas is used for the goggles. A lot of the more powerful cards, the high-impact cards. Unfortunately, we can only counter a creature spell with this. Looks like end of turn I'm going to use this to return a creature card with 2 or less and draw a card. Depending on what happens here. Oblivion Sower can actually... I will counter it. No, we'll Stasis Snare it or Declaration and Stone it. I can counter it and he gets lands off of this. Do I care about a 5/8? I'm not quite sure I do. Because he still gets the value out of it. He can't block anything. I'm so far ahead. I think I just let the Oblivion Sower resolve. Because if I need to just Declaration and Stone it, we can. He gets more value out of that. Let's see. Did he hit anything? He did not hit anything, but he hit some good cards for sure. The Faerie Miscreant, definitely... Well, no, the Faerie Miscreant's dead, so I don't care about that. The Thunderclap Wyvern would have been huge, though. Would have sped up our clock. I still think Ojutai's Command. Does this deck want to run like a World Breaker is the key, and all those things end on casting, so I think I do just Ojutai's Command. Return and draw. And now he's on a 2-turn clock and he's got to find an answer. And we find another Rattlechains, which can protect. And we do find the other planes for the Stasis Snare. So that is, yeah, we're in very good position here because he's on that 2-turn clock. And unfortunately, the Oblivion Sower just gets to look at the flyers, fly over top of him, and do 5 damage. Not sure if this has any like Pulse of Marasas in the deck or any way to gain life. But having another flash card too, and the Foundry of the Consuls being able to tick up, I think we're in good shape. We're ways away from Ulamog too. I think the World Breaker is probably a card that could be in here. There's the Pyromancer's Goggles. I can't do anything against that. I don't think I care too much about Stasis Snaring. We're definitely not going to Rattlechains because he gets to duplicate. Yeah, not going to worry about anything here. There's a Bygone Bishop. I can actually cast the Bygone Bishop. And we can leave up Rattlechain mana. This gives us a little more reach. He's only down to 3 cards. And we'll go ahead and attack in with everything. I'm sure he's going to copy something, whether it be a Fiery Impulse. And the copy should hit first, right? Because I don't need to respond to this. And I think he messed up. Oh, he's going to... So we'll get to investigate here with the Fiery Impulse. The Infiltrator still does die, though. Puts him down to a 2. And he's really got to draw out of this. Which doesn't look like... He would have used it if he had another like Fiery Impulse in his hand. Again, we're almost up to that Foundry of the Consuls. And there's the concession. So we win game 1, which I feel like the Pyromancer's Goggles deck is very, very favored for. And then on to game number 2. The negates definitely come in. We don't need like the Vryn's Wingmares are incredible in this match. I also think Eerie Interlude is pretty good because it can, I don't know, it can definitely find. We have double Stratus Dancers. Let's see. We don't need Declaration of Stone at all, or Stasis Snare. Ojutai's Command is still okay to keep in, but I'm not quite sure we want it. I still want the Faerie Miscreants and the Topplegeist, the Bygone Bishops. I think that if any card gets cut, it is going to be... maybe we don't need the Eerie Interlude. I guess it's still in the sideboard. The Epiphany of the Drownyard I think I still want. Well, I think it's actually Epiphany of the Drownyard that I don't need. So we can bring in some negates here. The Wingmares I think will be great. And I don't want to cut any of my aggression. So we'll go ahead and submit this. This is a very, very risky hand. I'm not quite sure I keep it. We have no blue mana in sight. But we do have... We'd have to draw into a blue source. The negate is very... I'm going to keep it and hopefully draw into that blue source. We could be in a lot of trouble. But there are a lot of cards we can actually draw out of with this hand. And we have time, too. We have time to set up. All we need to do is really counter that Pyromancer's Goggles, and we're good to go. That is not a card we want to draw. Let's pass. Have a lot of blue sources in the deck, so we should draw into one. I mean, it might have been a greedy keep, but on the play, there we go. This one's actually really good. We'll just play another Plains. And from then on out, we can just kind of keep the counterspell mana up on the negate and then flash in Dimensional Infiltrators and Rattlechains. It's actually exactly how tempo works. See if you like Tireless Trackers. Okay, Nissa's Pilgrimage actually does ramp him up, but I'm not going to be too concerned with a Pyromancer's Goggles he can't. Cast. Clash of Wills is nice too. So we just have to be smart with the counter spells here. See if he had a Pyromancer's Goggles. He didn't see any counter spells, not a one, except for the... Ojutai's Command. So we'll flash in this Dimensional Infiltrator. And he's got to respond to it on his end step here. if he wants to, and he doesn't. So now we're just going to play the tempo route of attacking in. I mean, it's a slow start being turn number 4, only getting in for our first bit of damage. Good news about this is I can Clash of Wills and still Rattlechains. So he's just going to Tormenting Voice. We'll let that happen. Not a biggie. It's not actually card advantage. It is fixing, though. See if he just returns the Drownyard Temple. And a Pilgrimage, I don't think I care about either, because we'll just, now we get a flash in the Thunderclap Wyvern. He does have the added benefit of having the shouldn't have tapped out his red there too. It would have made me kind of uneasy with this Thunderclap. All right, so we'll go Foundry the Consuls. Don't need to play anything else. It's down to a 13, pass the turn. The Game Trail reveals a forest. He's got 8 mana. Not quite Ulamog. Goblin Dark Dwellers. I actually don't care about a Goblin Dark Dwellers. He can have it. Because the only thing it can cast back here is a Tormenting Voice or Nissa's Pilgrimage, which I still don't care about. Because he's under a lot of pressure. An Ulamog unit at this point isn't terrible. We can counter the Ulamog and just live with the consequences of whatever exiles being a probably double Wyvern at that point. But we could have already done, the damage could have already been done. He's going to have to use his red source here too. Now I'm wishing that I would have cast the Faerie Miscreant because I would have had another 3 flyer. Which is that, would that have been lethal? 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, I believe. No, that would have been, so 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, now I'm definitely. So Fiery Temper happens with the Madness. I think that we do negate it. So yeah, now that's fine, because this allows us to still Rattlechains here. And at this point, I don't think I do anything. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I could do 11 damage. The Faerie Miscreant, I don't think I will cast. Because we have lethal on board just by a Foundry of the Consuls. He's down to a 5. Yeah, we can activate the Foundry of Consuls, even if it's like an Ulamog here, which is still a mana off. So I'm not too concerned. Because this is 6 damage after we destroy the Foundry of the Consuls and cast the Thunderclap Wyvern. This is going to Fire Impulse. I'm going to let that happen. Chandra, however, is going to get... Yeah, it doesn't matter. I can tap out here. Chandra's going to get completely countered. Didn't need to tap in much mana, but that's fine. I don't think he can do anything with just the... Oh, he hasn't... Yes, he's played a land. He played a forest. He'll attack in with his Goblin Dark Dwellers, and it's over when we cast the Thunderclap Wyvern. And that is 6 damage. So a quick 2-0 finish against this, working out phenomenally well. These are 2 decks that are I would assume are the tier 1 decks. Yeah, but the Goggles has been around for quite a while. It doesn't have the best showings ever, but the green-white tokens is definitely the top dog. And we're off to a great start. This has been Kevin with GatheringMagic.com. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Playing on a Budget. If you haven't already, please subscribe to Gathering Magic and check out our Playing on a Budget playlist, which contains every episode. Thanks again and hope to see you soon.